Hey everybody. If you watched my previous video on gold, you know that I lost some bets. And the performance of gold actually might surprise you if you're like me. So here, I want to talk about the value of gold, why it retains value and why this value continues to grow. So let's look at this real quick. The first part, if you're like me, again, the skeptic out there, gold is a dead asset, right? It's expensive to buy and sell. It's actually more expensive to sell for a lot of people. It's really only for doomsday preppers, right? You got to have your guns and gold in your bomb shelter. That's what this is all about, right? Isn't that only people that invest in gold? They think the world's coming to an end and the US currency's going to zero and all those wonderful things. Well, okay, that may be true or some variation of that. That's the stigma that many, many, many people have. So let's look at what actually happened. I consider, and when I look at the stock market, I always talk about starting at 2000 because we digitized the stock market. I call it the modern investing world. The reality is investing in the stock market is polar. It was completely different starting in 2000 because you could hit a button and sell your whole portfolio. You didn't have to call somebody who was hiding under a desk, not wanting to answer their phone just to sell a stock. So we've fundamentally changed how we invest and how we're able to manage those investments in the modern world, right? So when we look at 2000 to today, okay, 2000 to 2023, we invested 100,000 in just gold, spot price of gold, and we have put 100,000 in the S&P 500. Look at this. This is the bet I lost and what surprised me so much. Now, look, yes, the price of gold fluctuates quite a bit, right? We had this big valley here. If that was a stock market, that'd be scary. As a matter of fact, as crazy as this sounds, the stock market's less volatile when we look at it like this. Okay. But what's really cool to see here is that 2008 doesn't look like much in the stock market anymore, but look what gold did when 2008 happened. Boy, when we talk about big recessions, big down markets in the stock market, gold has always done well during those. So very important to see that. So surprisingly, the spot price, just the price of gold from 2000 through 2023, because when I made this video, I hadn't finished 2024. There is gold way above the stock market. Crazy. Didn't believe it. That's why I'm making these videos. So then you start doing research and you start saying, well, okay, how is this a viable asset? And a lot of managers out there do recommend putting into GLD. You know, there were times when I thought that mining stocks would do good against inflation. They've done terrible. Very big surprise on that. I admit that mistake. But the reality is when we look at gold, it has done a very good job. Okay. So influences on the value for the last 25 years. First of all, the economic hedge. Gold has historically been seen as a stable hedge against economic instability. So within our country, during that 2008 experience, that's when we saw gold start taking off. So when we have economic instability inside our own country, that's when we start seeing some value. We learned that in the 2008 crash. But then when we go outside of our country and we see wars starting and things like that, we see gold jumping in value. Very important that we see all these because these are very well documented when we see instability in the international world. Jewelry. Now, we don't see this as much in the United States. The reality is the jewelry market is pretty stable in the US. It's not going astronomical, but I need you to think outside the US. Think about two of the biggest countries out there. Let's talk about China and India and the growing middle class that they have that values gold. Gold is the status denominator. They want to have big gold chains on. Gold, selling jewelry outside the US is a $300 billion global market. Billion with a B, 300 billion. It's insane what goes on out there. The jewelry stores that are in Dubai, for instance, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars worth of inventory just on the spot price of gold. You can see it. It's craziness what's going on out there. And a lot of it is because of that growing middle class that values gold outside the US. Electronics. I mean, we produce new electronics every single day by the truckloads. It's insane. Almost all electronics have gold in them. Believe it or not, you open things up, that the gold circuitry in there, that is actually gold. It's a fantastic conductor. So we use them in almost all electronics. And then there's the limited supply. Okay, that's why, when we look at the cryptocurrencies, we see Bitcoin shooting up over $100,000 because it's one of the cryptocurrencies that there is a limited number of. It's a limited supply. Okay, when you limit the supply of something that is unique, you're going to see the value rocket. And that's what's happening here with gold. So that's kind of the big influences that we've seen over the last 25 years. But what about going forward? Where's the staying power on this? So we have to understand that the fact is the historical usage, we're talking a millennia of usage all the way back to the Roman times when they created the first gold coin and used it instead of bartering. This is how they broke the bartering world. They said, we're going to barter, but we're going to use these coins as our bartering as opposed to goods. Okay, scarcity. Again, it's a rare metal in Earth. As a matter of fact, it tracks all the way back to meteorites hitting the planet. Safe haven asset. Investors often turn to gold during economic turmoil. Reactivity. The gold is one of the least reactive elements on the periodic table. This is why it makes it unique. Okay. It doesn't react to oxygen and it never rusts or corrodes. Gold is resistant to most acids. Okay, it's a very unique metal. That's why it's used in a lot of different things. And then the malleability, I thought this was so cool. You could take 1 ounce and it can actually be stretched up to 5 miles. So cool. I actually watched a whole video on this, and a bunch of scientists playing around with gold. It was really neat. Okay, so lots of neat little reasons right there. So we look at this and we continue with it and say, okay, well, another one, conductivity. Gold is a very good conductor of heat and electricity. Reflectance. Okay, energy reflectance. They're actually using this to make glass, and it reflects the heat right back, so it doesn't allow heat to go through. It's a great reflector for electromagnetic radiation, so that's why they're using it in spaceships and everything else. That's why they're playing with it in glass. We're seeing it everywhere in making spaceships and all that kind of stuff. Currency, we obviously understand that it's been used as currency. It used to back the US dollar, but now we also have to know that it's being used in the lending world. There are legitimate businesses borrowing gold as opposed to dollars. Whether it's US dollars or any other currency, they don't want to be tied to a currency. And there's a very logical progression to this. Governments used to be the only one doing this. They changed some regulations, and now private banking systems are lending actual gold, and now investors can earn interest. There are mining companies that borrow in gold. There are manufacturing companies that borrow in gold. There are entities in the jewelry world that want to borrow in gold. Brinks, the one that secures all their money, is borrowing in gold. The reality is that there is a large network of entities out there that would much prefer to borrow in gold as opposed to dollars or currency of any kind. So we're seeing this big comeback in the currency, the use as currency as we know it. So what's next? Well, medicine. There's huge use in the medical field, especially when trying to cure cancer. They're able to shoot lasers in, so they inject the gold, it sucks in the laser, and it does all these magical, wonderful things. It's incredible. The energy efficient glass I was talking about, aerospace, that's the energy reflective of radio waves and ultraviolet radiation, all that type of stuff. Really fascinating the direction that things are going. We're still learning about the uses of gold, and that shocked me. I just thought it was just some metal we pulled out of the ground, but no, it's being used everywhere. It's very interesting. So when we think through this and we start looking at the value of gold, not only now or the past, but we got to start projecting into the future and understanding that gold is not necessarily the dead asset a lot of us seem to think it was, right? It is still and has been for millennia a good storage of value, because it does have practical use, but it also has millennia of image in our head as currency, or as a show of your value, of your net worth, of you being rich and showing it off. We put it in jewelry, we do this, we do that. There's so many reasons that gold retains that value. But what's crazy is when we get past just the investing value of it, now we can actually earn interest on it. So this is the performance of gold. This is the same chart. So you got the gold in the middle here. You got the S&P 500 there. But if you could earn, this is just earning 3% on gold, earning interest on gold because it's lent out, even insured. So as little to no risk as you could get, it's insured by Lloyd's of London type companies. And there you're still earning interest on this, and add 3% in that same time frame, it blows away almost every other choice. It is a fantastic diversification. So gold in a portfolio, good diversification. Gold plus a yield, that's pretty fantastic, right? As any investment for any situation. So watch out for that. The gold has promise. Gold is real, and gold from an investing value should be looked at in most portfolios. All right, I hope that helps. Again, I've never been a gold bug. I'm not a gold bug, but I absolutely see the value in this case. I really do. I look at it over the last, 20 plus years, and I'm seeing the value. Let us know if we can help out in any way. If you want to meet with any of us, yourinvestmentcounselor.com. You can book a 30-minute free meet and greet, or go straight to hourly if you're looking for that. Full classes. We do full education classes, hour and a half long. The schedule can be found on fpfeaz.org. We do them live over Zoom. And certainly give us a call. Follow our channel, sign up, because every week I put new videos out there covering all topics. And I've only made 2 or 3 gold videos, and that's it. So I've got over 150 videos on there. 150, actually, I think I'm reaching over 200 now. So lots of videos, lots of education, all on investing and retirement and all that wonderful stuff. All right, everybody, we'll see you next week. Thanks again.